In today's video, we'll be discussing the remarkable story of Andrew Carnegie, a man who amassed a fortune that was equivalent to 2% of America's GDP. Despite having only received 5 years of schooling, this Scottish immigrant rose from poverty to become the wealthiest person in the world. Carnegie's life was complex and fascinating, and we'll be exploring how he achieved such incredible success. Andrew Carnegie was born into a poor family in a small town called Dunfermline in Scotland, and they had a tough life. Andrew's mother worked day and night sewing shoes to make ends meet, while his father struggled to make cloth using old weaving looms. However, their lives took a turn for the worse when the steam-powered loom came into the picture. This new invention brought about rapid changes in the weaving industry, and Andrew's father's business suffered greatly. The family faced difficult times, and young Andrew witnessed the hardships caused by the Industrial Revolution. In 1848, Carnegie family made a decision to pursue a brighter future in America. They sold all their possessions and borrowed £20 to fund their journey to the land of opportunity, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was a bustling city known for its factories and manufacturing, but even there, life wasn't easy for the Carnegies. Andrew's parents struggled to find work, and with their financial situation becoming more challenging, Andrew, at a young age, had no choice but to drop out of school to help support his family. Fate, however, had something special in store for Andrew. One day, while wandering the busy streets of Pittsburgh, he noticed a telegraph office. He saw telegrams being sent and received, and he became curious about this new form of communication. Andrew saw an opportunity and applied for a job as a messenger boy at the telegraph office. He was hired and soon found himself delivering telegrams all over Pittsburgh on his bicycle. As a messenger boy, Andrew became more than just a delivery boy. He learned to memorize the faces of the people he delivered telegrams to, so that he could greet them by name if he saw them outside of work. This unique skill provided Andrew with a golden opportunity. He familiarized himself with the city's bustling business community. At the young age of 17, he perfected his telegraph skills, and impressively, he could recite messages without needing to write them down. One fateful day, Andrew's dedication and talent caught the eye of a man named Thomas Scott, a regional manager for the Pennsylvania Railroad Company. Thomas Scott saw immense potential in young Andrew and offered him a job as his personal telegrapher and private secretary, paying him a monthly salary of $35. This was an incredible opportunity for Andrew, as the Pennsylvania Railroad Company was the largest corporation in the world at that time. Working closely with Thomas Scott, Andrew Carnegie learned the ropes of the railroad industry. He observed how successful businesses operated and managed their affairs. As Andrew's career progressed, the American Civil War broke out. Many young men were drafted into the war, but Andrew found a way to avoid being on the battlefield. Instead of fighting, he used his wit and paid $850 to have someone else take his place in the army. While this decision raised some eyebrows, it allowed Andrew to avoid the dangers of war and focus on his growing interest in business. During this time, Andrew Carnegie noticed a problem that needed a solution. The wooden bridges used during the war were easily burnt by troops, causing significant damage. Seeing an opportunity, Andrew launched the Keystone Bridge Company. This company specialized in building iron bridges that were much sturdier and safer than wooden ones. The Keystone Bridge Company quickly became a success, and Andrew's reputation as a smart businessman started to grow. But Andrew's ambitions didn't stop there. He saw the potential of the growing steel industry and how it could revolutionize construction and manufacturing. In the 1850s, an inventor named Henry Bessemer introduced a new method called the Bessemer process, which allowed the mass production of steel. Andrew saw the possibilities and realized that steel could be used to build tall skyscrapers and large structures. With his entrepreneurial spirit in full swing, Andrew wasted no time and built America's first steel plants. He hired the best engineers and architects to work in his steel mills, and he was always looking for ways to improve efficiency and increase production. The steel industry was booming, and Andrew Carnegie's empire was on the rise. He was a highly driven individual who always pushed his employees to their limits, both physically and mentally. He was known for his strict policy of requiring employees to work almost every day of the year, with only the 4th of July given as a day off. As technology continued to progress, he sought to replace his workers with machines whenever possible. Unlike humans, machines didn't require rest, ask for pay raises, or try to form unions. To strengthen his position, Andrew Carnegie decided to rename his steel business. Instead of calling it Carnegie Steel, he named it after one of his important customers, J. Edgar Thompson Steel Works. This clever move not only showed appreciation to the customer, but also helped to secure more orders from their railroad company. His reputation as a shrewd businessman who valued his customers helped him thrive in the competitive New York City landscape. Andrew Carnegie's success in the steel industry was not without its setbacks. He faced labor disputes and strikes from workers who demanded better wages and working conditions. He was determined to keep labor costs low to maximize profits, leading to tensions between him and his workers. One of the most significant labor disputes in Carnegie's career was the Homestead Strike. In 1892, workers at his Homestead steel plant in Pennsylvania went on strike to protest against longer working hours and reduced pay. Carnegie was not directly involved in managing the strike, as he had entrusted the day-to-day operations to his right-hand man, Henry Clay Frick. Frick took a hardline approach, hiring a private army of Pinkerton detectives to protect the factory and bring in replacement workers. A violent confrontation ensued between the striking workers and the Pinkertons, resulting in multiple deaths and injuries. The strike was eventually put down, and the workers returned to their jobs under harsh conditions. While Carnegie publicly advocated for workers' rights and better conditions, his actions in the Homestead Strike tarnished his reputation as a champion of labor. Many viewed him as a hypocrite who spoke of fairness and justice, but prioritized profits over the well-being of his workers. Despite the controversies and conflicts, Carnegie's steel empire continued to grow. He expanded his businesses, acquired more companies, and became one of the richest men in the world. By the early 1900s, Carnegie Steel produced more steel than the entire nation of Great Britain. However, as Carnegie grew older, his perspective on life and wealth started to change. He had achieved immense success and had more money than he could ever spend. He began to question the purpose of such vast wealth and pondered how he could use it for the greater good. In 1901, at the age of 66, Andrew Carnegie made a monumental decision that would shape his legacy. He decided to sell his steel company to the famous financier J.P. Morgan for a staggering $480 million. This sale made Carnegie the richest man in the world at that time. Andrew Carnegie committed himself to serving the world through philanthropy and dedicated 100% of himself to it, completely cutting ties with his business life. He had a soft spot for libraries, which he credits for helping him achieve the financial success he acquired over the course of his life. He had only 5 years of formal schooling and understood the value of learning. He believed that access to books and knowledge could lift people from poverty and empower them to lead better lives. Thus, Andrew Carnegie dedicated his life to building libraries worldwide. From small towns to big cities, Carnegie funded the construction of over 2,500 libraries in various countries. It's admirable that he wasn't doing it for self-promotion, as his name was only displayed on less than 500 of those libraries. One example of his generosity is Carnegie Hall, one of New York's most recognizable landmarks. The building was built and donated by Carnegie himself in 1891 as the Music Hall, though its original name was only changed to the current version after his death, and not by his request. From 1901 until his death in 1919 in Lenox, Massachusetts, Carnegie's full-time job was giving away the vast wealth he had built up for himself. While it's true that Carnegie engaged in some unethical business practices, his philanthropic impact cannot be ignored. He didn't leave a single dollar to his family. Perhaps he viewed donating his money as a way to atone for his past mistakes. Carnegie's philanthropic impact is staggering, perplexing to say the least. How can a man commit such sins and then become a saint? Despite his complex past, his philanthropy significantly impacted the world. His dedication to philanthropy and belief in the power of education and knowledge define his legacy. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.